Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston. Today we're back for episode 2 of the Seattle Mariners franchise here at MLB 13 the show. I know it's been a few days since I posted episode 1, but we are ready to get underway with some gameplay here going up against the New York Yankees. And these are two teams that I wouldn't say have a rivalry going, but they certainly have a lot of connections, I think, for lack of a better term. Although maybe that is a good term. They have a lot of former players playing for the opposite team. They've made a lot of trades in the past. They've been active trade partners for a while now. They did the Jesus Montero for Michael Pineda trade. They did the Brendan Ryan trade. They ended up doing the Ichiro trade. Obviously, former players on the team. Ichiro's still on the Yankees at this point. A-Rod is on the Yankees as well. He's played for the Mariners. And obviously you have Michael Pineda, who's actually starting this game, who's a former Mariner. So you have a lot of former players on each side. And I don't know, it's just a team with some interesting connections. And then obviously you have Robinson Cano, the former Yankee, playing against this old team for the first time in his career, as this is the 6th game of the season, the first game of this first game of the 3-game series against the New York Yankees, and it will be the first time that Cano does match up with his old team, so it's something to be excited for. We are set at our 2-4 though, and that is not the start we were looking for. We had a tough loss in the opening day, which I actually ended up playing, but I lost the recording for when I switched to my new computer. So that gameplay was salvaged, or that was gameplay was lost, I should say. Although it was not a very good gameplay. I played pretty terribly in it, because it was my first MLB game in like a couple months. But nonetheless, we ended up losing that game. Corey Hart did hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats as a Seattle Mariner, though. That was pretty cool. And he's had a fantastic start to the year. So has a lot of guys in our lineup, but Robinson Cano struggled a little bit. You'll kind of see that if the stats pop up at some point in these videos. But nonetheless, let's get into this gameplay. Bottom of the first inning, Nick Franklin's going to get things going with a leadoff single here. He's our leadoff man to start out the year. That could be a spot we look to upgrade in the future, but I like what I've seen out of Nick Franklin so far. Dustin Ackley's up next after Franklin will move up to second base on a stolen base. Ackley shoots that one into right field for a base hit. Franklin moves up to third. We have first and third for the big man, Robinson Cano. First pitch of the AB from Pineda. Runner is going. Cano takes ball 1. Throw down not in time, and Ackley steals second. So that takes out the double play ball. Second and third with no outs in the inning. Great opportunity for an RBI for Cano. Just 2 for his first 18. Make that 2 for his first 19 as the Cano struggle continues, and he will get set down. The next batter is going to be the red-hot Corey Hart. 5 RBI in his first 6 games. So let's see if he can get it done here. Grounds this one to the second baseman. That will be fielded and fired to first base in time, but the run does come home and score, and that will make it a 1-0 ball game. Kyle Seager is up later in the inning, 2 outs. Runner on third base, and that is going to be popped up into the left center field gap. There is the left fielder Vernon Wells over. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. One quick note about this Yankees team. Although in real life they made the moves to get Jacoby Ellsbury and Brian McCann, they do not have those in this game. They lost them to free agency when they did the first-year simulation. They still do have Carlos Beltran, but it's still kind of a depleted Yankees roster. This is not the Yankees team that you'll probably see fielded in the real-life 2014 season. But David Price was dealing today. This is David Price's second start as a Seattle Mariner, and he had it going so far. He's got a couple strikeouts in the early innings, 3 shutout innings so far. And Ackley in the bottom of the third is going to get things going with 2 outs, lining that one past the diving glove of Carlos Beltran out there in right field. Center field is going to have to come over and field it, but Ackley's going to get into second base for a 2-out double as you look to get a 2-out rally going here. Take a look at this replay. He shoots this one into right field, and the right fielder made a stupid play here, Carlos Beltran. You always want to play a conservative 2 outs. So a silly mistake there by the veteran right fielder Carlos Beltran. The next batter is Robinson Cano, still 2 outs in the inning. Pineda from the stretch will kick and deal. First pitch is lined into the right center field gap just over the second baseman's head, and that's going to roll all the way to the 381 sign out there, and that will be an RBI double for Robinson Cano, getting just his 3rd hit as a Mariner and just his 2nd RBI, but it comes against his former team, and you know that had to feel sweet for him. So, next batter in the inning is going to be Corey Hart, the 2-1 count. He already has an RBI today. Can he get another one? He's going to line this one into the right center field gap once again. This one closer to center field than the last one, but it's going to get the same job done as Cano will come around and score. And Corey Hart has his 2nd RBI of the day, his first hit, and it's going to be an RBI double for the veteran. I guess he's playing DH for us right now, so even though he can play a couple different positions. But Kyle Seager here is going to ground the one to the first baseman. That will be the 3rd and final out of the inning. Derek Barton will touch the bag, and that will retire the side. But we now have a 3-0 lead here in the top of the 4th inning. David Price still wheeling and dealing. Here's Carlos Beltran up to 2-2 count. Great backdoor curveball that actually hung over the center of the plate, but it was nice and low, and that gets the job done. Next batter is A-Rod, 0-2 count. Strike 3 on the cutter, looking as he froze A-Rod right there. Beautiful pitch by the veteran left-hander David Price, and now next batter is going to, actually 2 batters later, it's Vernon Wells, and Vernon Wells goes down in the curveball. If you guys are wondering, I'm using a roster that was based off of an OSFM hybrid, which means some of the batting stances and pitching motions are a little bit different than the default MLB ones because they're supposed to look a little bit more like actually how they look in real life. So nonetheless, we got a runner on first tee already. Logan Morrison lines that one to right field though, so that will end up holding the runner at first. So now later in the inning we still have 2 outs. Marlon Byrd is up to 1-0 count. The 9-hole in our hitter Marlon Byrd gets the one back up the middle for a base hit. He was not really a risky signing because we didn't sign him for too much, but he does have a guaranteed contract, as are all contracts in Major League Baseball, and he ends up paying off so far as he's hitting upwards of 330, although a short sample size. But nonetheless, Nick Franklin is going to pop that one up into deep right field. That one is going to be caught by Carlos Beltran, and Michael Pineda escapes the jam. But we are putting some good contact on the ball right now and looking to add on to our lead in the future. Here we go, top 5. 1 away in the inning. Chris Owings up, Chris Owings down. 97-mile-an-hour heater. Price blows it right by him as David Price continues to wheel and deal so far in this ball game. Now Kelly Shopik up is the next batter. 1-2 count, and Shopik goes down on the fastball. That is 10 strikeouts. That's right, 10 strikeouts through 5 innings for David Price as he had it going, and he is really just dominating this Yankees lineup right now. But we skip ahead to the bottom of the 5th here. Robinson Cano up 1-0 count, and he shoots that one back up the middle for a base hit. And that will give us a 1-out base runner here with the heart of the Seattle Mariners lineup coming up. Now 2 batters later, Kyle Seager up 2-2 count. And that is going to be swung on and hit into right field, a seeing eye single. That will make it runners in first and second with 2 away now in the inning. And the next batter will be Mike Zunino, guy who's had a couple big hits for us already this season. He shoots that one into deep left center field. Center fielder going over. He will make the catch. I believe that's Cesar Puello, the leadoff hitter, playing out there in center field. And speaking of Cesar Puello, here he is, a player that I believe was on the Mets in my Miami Marlins franchise. So I've seen a little bit of him before, but obviously different roster, different type of player. So nonetheless, that's going to be a base hit back up the middle as the Yankees look to get going here. Top of the 6th inning, trying to get to Price as he's a little bit tired. He's had to throw in a lot of pitches to get those 10 strikeouts, and it seems to be showing right here as Beltran walks. Next batter is A-Rod, 1 out in the inning, and runners going for third. He is safe, and that will make it first and third with just 1 out. That was clearly going on his own, as it was not a double steal. 3-2 count, and that is going to be lined into left field, and that will get down in front of the left fielder Logan Morrison, and that will score the run. So it's a 3-1 ball game. Now the Yankees are on the board, and they're still looking, or they're still threatening right here with 2 on and 1 out. Next batter is Vernon Wells, the lefty specialist, the 0-2 count, and Wells is going to ground that one to the third baseman for the 3rd and final out of the inning. I believe I said next batter. I meant 2 batters later. That would be Vernon Wells up, and he grounds that one to third to end the inning. And we're going to skip ahead here to the 6th inning recap, and you can see it's a 3-1 ball game. Three runs on 9 hits, no errors for the Mariners, 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error for the New York Yankees. You can see some performances at the bottom of your screen. I like to throw that in there to give a quick 2/3 recap of the video or so before we get into the final stretch. Here we go, Alfonso Soriano getting things started for the Yankees here in the top of the 7th inning as he gets on with a single, a leadoff single at that. And Chris Owings is up next. Owings is going to bloop this one into left field. And not very hard hit, but or not hit very hard, but finds a gap, and that's what matters when sometimes when you're playing baseball. Better to be lucky than good at times. Kelly Shopik is the next batter, 1-2 count, and Shopik is going to ground this one to the shortstop, onto second for 1, onto first, double play. We know Robinson Cano is one of the fastest at turning or at flipping that in second base, so hopeful to have him there. We double up Kelly Shopik. Next batter is the leadoff hitter, Cesar Puello, 0-2 count. Puello goes down in the 96-mile-an-hour heater. Price escapes the jam, and he's through 7 strong. Great performance by Price so far. We'll see if we bring him out here for the 8th. We will. 1 out. Carlos Beltran is up. I had him pitch to Derek Barton to start the inning because he was a lefty, and then I had him pitch to Carlos Beltran for the 2nd out of the inning because Beltran is a lot worse from the right side of the plate than the left. So after that, we're going to pull him. A great performance from David Price. He finishes 7 2/3 innings. I believe he gave up 7 hits and had, I think, 11 strikeouts. He had at least 11 strikeouts. I know that. And it might have been more. I'm not too sure. But great performance by David Price. All we could have asked for out of him. So we're going to have Blake Beaven come in here to start out, or to end off the top of the 8th inning with 2 away. Alex Rodriguez is up, and he's going to go down swinging on the fastball up and away. We bring in the right-hander to face the right-hander, and it pays off right there. So top of the 9th here, we're going to not bring in our usual closer. We're actually going to bring in Nate Robertson to face Jimmy Paredes, who's a switch hitter, but he's much worse from the right side of the plate. So Robertson of the 0-1 count is going to get Paredes to ground out to Nick Franklin, the shortstop here, for the first out of the inning, and now 3 straight righties are due up next for the New York Yankees. So we're going to bring in our right-handed closer, Danny Farquhar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and closer is a position that I might look to upgrade in the future. Farquhar is okay, but he's, you know, it'd be nice to have a kind of a shutdown guy there. You can see there's a runner on third. Chris Owings is up the 1-1 count, and he's going to ground that one to the first baseman. Justin Smoke will tag the bag for the third and final out of the inning, and the Seattle Mariners get their 3rd win of the season. They improved to 3-4 with the win over the New York Yankees. Very, very nice win. Good game all around. Could have used some more offense, but Price was dominant, and our bullpen shut it down at the end, so I liked what I saw. Anyway, that's pretty much going to do it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and it doesn't out. Peace.